Jami at Tirmidhi, the book on blood money. Jami at Tirmidhi, the book on blood money, narrated Ibn Masud. The Messenger of Allah judged for the accidental blood money. 20 bint Makad, 20 Make ibn Makad, 20 bint Laboon, 20 Jadah, and 20 Hikah. Another chain, with similar meaning. Jami at Tirmidhi 1386, reference 16 Hadith 1. Jami at Tirmidhi, the book on blood money, narrated Amr bin Shu'aib. From his father, from his grandfather, that the Prophet said, "Whoever kills a believer deliberately, he is handed over to the guardians of the one killed. If they wish to, they have him killed, and if they wish to, they take the blood money. That is 30 hikah, 30 jadahs, and 40 pregnant camels. Whatever amount more they require from him, then that is for them, if they choose. That is because of the severity of blood money." Jami at Tirmidhi 1387, reference 16 Hadith 2. Jami at Tirmidhi, the book on blood money, narrated Ikrimah. From Ibn Abbas that the Prophet made the blood money 12,000. Jami at Tirmidhi 1388, reference 16 Hadith 3. Jami at Tirmidhi, the book on blood money, another chain, from Ikrimah from the Prophet, and it is similar, but he did not mention from Ibn Abbas in it. There is much more criticism than this for this narration of Ibn Uyayna. Jami at Tirmidhi 1389, reference 16 Hadith 4. Jami at Tirmidhi, the book on blood money, narrated Amr bin Shu'aib. From his father, from his grandfather, that the Prophet said, regarding the Mawadiyah, 5. Jami at Tirmidhi 1390, reference 16 Hadith 5. Jami at Tirmidhi, the book on blood money, narrated Ibn Abbas. That the Messenger of Allah said, the blood money for the fingers on the hands and the toes of the feet is the same. 10 camels for each finger. Jami at Tirmidhi 1391, reference 16 Hadith 6. Jami at Tirmidhi, the book on blood money, narrated Ibn Abbas. That the Prophet said, these and these are the same. Referring to the little finger and thumb. Jami at Tirmidhi 1392, reference 16 Hadith 7. Jami at Tirmidhi, the book on blood money, narrated Abu as-Safar. A man from the Quraysh broke a tooth of a man from the Ansar. So he appealed to Muawiyah against him. He said to Muawiyah, O commander of the believers, this person broke one of my teeth. Muawiyah said, we will try to get satisfaction for you. And the other person insisted that Muawiyah get him to agree, but he was not satisfied. So Muawiyah said him, it is up to your companion. Abu ad-Darda was sitting with him. So Abu ad-Darda said, I heard the Messenger of Allah saying, he said, my ears heard and my heart remembered, there is no man who is struck in his body and he forgives for it, except that Allah raises him a level and removes a sin from him. The Ansari said, did you hear that from the Messenger of Allah? He said, my ears heard it and my heart remembered it. He said, then I will leave it to him. Muawiyah said, surely you should not suffer. So he ordered that he be given some wealth. Jami at Tirmidhi 1393, reference 16 Hadith 8. Jami at Tirmidhi, the book on blood money, narrated Anas. That a girl went out in Al-Madinah wearing some silver ornaments. A Jew grabbed her and fractured her head with a stone, and he took the jewelry she had on. He said, she was found with some spark of life in her, and was brought to the Prophet, and he said, did such and such person strike you? She nodded no with her head. He said, such and such? Until he named the Jew, and she nodded yes with her head. He said, he was brought and recognized, so the Messenger of Allah ordered that his head be crushed between 2 stones. Jami at Tirmidhi 1394 reference 16 Hadith 9. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Abdullah bin Amr. That the Prophet said, "The world ceases to exist is less significant to Allah than killing a Muslim man." Jami at Tirmidhi 1395 reference 16 Hadith 10. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money, another chain, from Abdullah bin Amr, and it is similar but he did not narrate it in marfu form. Jami at Tirmidhi 1395 reference 16 Hadith 11. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Abdullah. That the Messenger of Allah said, "Indeed the first cases to be judged between the people are those of bloodshed." Jami at Tirmidhi 1396 reference 16 Hadith 12. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money Abdullah narrated that the Messenger of Allah said, "Indeed the first cases to be judged between the worshippers are those of bloodshed." Jami at Tirmidhi 1397 reference 16 Hadith 13. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Abul Hakam al-Bajali. I heard Abu Sa'id al-Khudri and Abu Hurairah mentioning from the Messenger of Allah that he said, "If the inhabitants of the heavens and the inhabitants of the earth all took part in shedding the blood of believer, then Allah would cast them all in the fire." Jami at Tirmidhi 1398 reference 16 Hadith 14. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Suraka bin Malik bin Jusham. The Messenger of Allah judged that the son is to suffer retaliation for killing his father, but the father is not to suffer retaliation for killing his son. Jami at Tirmidhi 1399 reference 16 Hadith 15. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Umar bin al-Khattab. That the Messenger of Allah said, "The father does not suffer retaliation for killing the son." Jami at Tirmidhi 1400 reference 16 Hadith 16. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Ibn Abbas. That the Prophet said, "The hudud are not carried in the masjid, and the father is not killed for the son." Jami at Tirmidhi 1401 reference 16 Hadith 17. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Abdullah bin Masud. That the Messenger of Allah said, "The blood of a Muslim man, who testifies that none has the right to be worshipped Allah, is not lawful except for one of three cases: the previously married or married adulterer, a life for a life, and the one who leaves the religion and parts from the Jama'ah, the community of Muslims." Jami at Tirmidhi 1402 reference 16 Hadith 18. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Abu Hurairah. That the Prophet said, "Indeed, whoever kills a muwahid that has a covenant from Allah and a covenant from his messenger, then he has violated the covenant with Allah and the covenant of his messenger, so he shall not smell the fragrance of paradise, even though its fragrance can be sensed from the distance of 70 autumns." Jami at Tirmidhi 1403 reference 16 Hadith 19. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Ibn Abbas. The Prophet assigned the same blood money for the two emirs as that of the Muslims, and they had covenant from the Messenger of Allah. Jami at Tirmidhi 1404 reference 16 Hadith 20. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Abu Hurairah. When Allah granted his messenger victory over Makkah, he stood to deliver an address among the people. He thanked and praised Allah. Then he said, "And from whomever one of his relatives was killed, then he has two options to choose from: either to pardon or that he be killed." Jami at Tirmidhi 1405 reference 16 Hadith 21. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Abu Shurayh al-Kabi, that the Messenger of Allah said, "Indeed Allah made Makkah sacred, it was not made sacred by the people. Whoever believes in Allah, and the last day, then let them not shed blood in it, nor cut down any of its trees." If one tries to make an excuse by saying, "It was made lawful for the Messenger of Allah," then indeed Allah made it lawful for me, but He did not make it lawful for the people, and it was only made lawful for me for an hour of a day. Then it is returned to being sacred until the day of judgment. Then, to you people of Khuzah who killed this man from Hudail, I am his Akal, so whomever, one of his relatives, is killed after today, then his people have two options. Either they have him killed, or they take the blood money from him. Jami at Tirmidhi 1406 reference 16 Hadith 22. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Abu Hurairah. A man was killed during the time of the Messenger of Allah, so the killer was brought to the month's guardian. The killer said, "O Messenger of Allah, by Allah, I did not mean to kill him." So the Messenger of Allah said, "Then if what he is saying is true, and you kill him, you would enter the fire." So he let the man go. He said, his hands were bound behind him with a nisa. He said, so he left, dragging his nisa. He said, so he was called Don Nisa. Jami at Tirmidhi 1407 reference 16 Hadith 23. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Buraida, from his father, who said, whenever the Messenger of Allah dispatched a commander of an army, he would exhort him personally that he should have taqwa of Allah, and regarding those of the Muslims who were with him, that he should be good to them. He would say, fight in the name of Allah and in Allah's curse. Fight those who disbelieve in Allah and fight, do not be treacherous, nor mutilate, nor kill a child. Jami at Tirmidhi 1408 reference 16 Hadith 24. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Shaddad bin Aus, that the Prophet said, indeed Allah has decreed ihsan in everything. So when you kill, then do the killing well, and when you slaughter, then do the slaughtering well. Let one of you sharpen his blade, and let him comfort his animal, before slaughtering. Jami at Tirmidhi 1409 reference 16 Hadith 25. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Abu Hurairah. The Messenger of Allah judged that a Gora male slave or female slave be given in the case of a fetus. The one of the judgment was made against said, should we give something for one who did not drink, not eat, nor cry out to shed a tear, the likes of which is useless? So the Prophet said, this is the speech of a poet. Rather it requires a Gora, a male slave or a female slave. Jami at Tirmidhi 1410 reference 16 Hadith 26. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Al-Mughira bin Shuba. Two women co-wives were fighting, and one of them hit the other with a stone or a tent post, causing her to have a miscarriage. The Messenger of Allah judged that a Gora male or female slave should be given for fetus, and he required it from the asaba of the woman. Another chain. For this hadith, and it is similar to this. Jami at Tirmidhi 1411 reference 16 Hadith 27. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money Abu Juhayfa said, I said to Ali, O commander of the believers, do you have anything written that is not in Allah's book? He said, by the one who splits the seed and creates the soul, I have not learned from it except what understanding of the Quran Allah gives to a man, and what is in this sheet of paper. I said, what is in the paper? He said, it is the AQL, the ransom for release of captives, and the judgment that no believer is killed for a disbeliever. Jami at Tirmidhi 1412 reference 16 Hadith 28. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Amr bin Shu'aib from his father, from his grandfather, that the Messenger of Allah said, "The Muslim is not killed for disbeliever." And with this chain, it has been narrated that the Prophet said, "The blood money paid for disbeliever is half of the blood money paid for a believer." Jami at Tirmidhi 1413 reference 16 Hadith 29. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Samura, that the Messenger of Allah said, "Whoever kills his slave, then we will kill him, and whoever maims his slave, then we will maim him." Jami at Tirmidhi 1414 reference 16 Hadith 30. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Sa'id bin al-Musayyab, that Umar would say, "The blood money upon the tribe, and the wife does not inherit any of her husband's blood money." Until ad-Dahak bin Sufyan al-Kulabi informed him that the Messenger of Allah wrote to me, that Asham ad-Dibab's wife inherited the blood money of her husband. Jami at Tirmidhi 1415 reference 16 Hadith 31. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Imran bin Husayn. A man bit the hand of another man. The man who was bitten pulled his hand out, causing two of his incisors, teeth, to fall out. They brought their case of the Prophet. So he said, "One of you bites his brother like the stallion bites? There is no blood money for you." So Allah Most High revealed, "Wounds, equal for equal." Jami at Tirmidhi 1416 reference 16 Hadith 32. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Baz bin Hakim from his father, from his grandfather, that the Prophet imprisoned a man for an accusation, then he let him go. Jami at Tirmidhi 1417 reference 16 Hadith 33. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Sa'id bin Zayd bin Amr bin Nufail, that the Prophet said, "Whoever is killed over his wealth, then he is a martyr. And whoever steals a handspan of land, he will bear 7 earths on the day of resurrection." Jami at Tirmidhi 1418 reference 16 Hadith 34. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Abdullah bin Amr, that the Prophet said, "Whoever is killed over his wealth, then he is martyr." Jami at Tirmidhi 1419 reference 16 Hadith 35. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Abdullah bin Amr, that the Messenger of Allah said, "If someone tries to get another's wealth without right, and he fights and is killed, then he is a martyr." Jami at Tirmidhi 1420 reference 16 Hadith 36. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money, another chain of narration, from Abdullah bin Amr, from the Prophet with similar meaning. Jami at Tirmidhi 1420 reference 16 Hadith 37. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Zayd, that he heard the Messenger of Allah saying, "Whoever is killed over his wealth, then he is a martyr, and whoever is killed over his religion, then he is a martyr, and whoever is killed over his blood, then he is martyr, and whoever is killed over his family, then he is martyr." Jami at Tirmidhi 1421 reference 16 Hadith 38. Jami at Tirmidhi. The book on blood money narrated Sahl bin Abi Hatama. Yahya, one of the narrators, said, and I think it was from Rafi bin Khadij, that Abdullah bin Sahl bin Zayd and Mahesa bin Masud bin Zayd went out, and when they reached Khaybar they separated while there. Then Mahesa found Abdullah bin Sahl murdered, so he buried him. Then he went to the Messenger of Allah along with Huwaysa bin Masud and Abdur Rahman bin Sahl. The youngest of the people, Abdur Rahman, went to speak ahead of his companions. The Messenger of Allah said to him, "Let the eldest of you speak." So he was silent and 2 companions spoke. So he conversed with them, and they mentioned to the messenger of Allah about the murder of Abdullah bin Saul. He said to them, "If 50 of you can swear an oath, then you will have the right against the murderer." They said, "How can we take an oath when we did not witness it?" He said, "Then 50 of Jews can swear to clear the charge with you?" They said, "How could we accept the oaths of a disbelieving Jami at Tirmidhi 1422 reference 16 Hadith 39. Jami at Tirmidhi, the book on blood money people? So when he saw that, the messenger of Allah paid the blood money. Another chain. From Saul bin Abi Hathman and Rafi bin Khadij, and the meaning is similar to this hadith. Jami at Tirmidhi 1422 reference 16 Hadith 39.